Okay, so let me show you how this works. Notice the tmux sessions that I have running right now. I only have one session. Let me go to another app. I'll go to the browser. Now I'm gonna press -en, and as you can see, the FCF menu shows up. I can choose one of the devices that I have here. I'm gonna choose this one, and it's going to SSH to that device. As you were able to see, I was in the browser and I pressed -en, and the pop-up showed up. So it doesn't matter which app I'm on, I can jump back here and SSH to any of the hosts. Let me SSH to another one, DNS3. So as you're able to see here at the bottom, shows you that it's an SSH session, the name of the host, and this is my Karabiner mapping. And let me show you the list of sessions again. So now you can see that I have 3 sessions created. This also works with Prime's tmux-sessionizer. So let me go to another app, or I can stay here in the terminal, doesn't matter. Let me go to YouTube, and I'm gonna jump to one of my commonly used directories. I'm gonna press -n. It's gonna show me the directories. I can choose one. Let's go to this one. That's gonna create a session there. Let me show you the sessions. So now I have these 2 SSH sessions and these 2 regular sessions. This is the one that I just created right now. As you can see here, this is not an SSH session, and it shows me the mapping here. So what is this mapping for? So if I do -tj, it's gonna jump to this dotfiles latest repo. I can jump to -tk, it's gonna take me to this other directory. L, as you see here, this is my scripts directory. Let me show you the sessions. Now I have all these sessions. So it doesn't matter where I'm at. I can be on any app, or I can be in the terminal itself. I can jump to any of the sessions that I use on a regular basis, or I can jump to any of the SSH devices that I configured. So I have 2 scripts, Prime's tmux-sessionizer and the other one that I created for SSHing to devices. So I use 2 key mappings. -tn shows me the list of directories. -en shows me the list of SSH devices. And if you notice on the right side, I configure the mapping so that I can remember how to get to each host. Okay, so if I go here to my latest directory, I'm gonna press -tn. I'm gonna go to the Obsidian directory. And as you can tell, to get to this directory, I use the mapping U. So that would be -tu. Let me show you the sessions again. Here's Obsidian. So let me jump to J. -tj is going to take me to the latest repo, .files latest. -tu is going to take me to the Obsidian directory. -ti is going to take me to this other directory that I have configured, and so on. So this allows me to easily switch between my different directories. I just have to remember the mapping. So I'm going to do J, K, L, colon, quote, U, I. And I can also jump between devices. So I can do -e, J, K, L, colon, quote, U, H. Let me show you all the sessions that I have open right now. If a session already exists, a new one is not created, you just switch to the existing session. Okay, so notice that I'm on this SSH device right now. I'm gonna go to YouTube. I'm in YouTube right now. And as you can tell, I can jump to any directory or host with a single key map. Let me go to my latest repo, -tj. So it takes me there. How do I make this happen? Let me open this repo. Let me show you my carabiner configuration. So let me show you my mappings. So here's where I configure the letter T for tmux, and here's where I specify each one of the directories. This is for home, dotfiles latest, dotfiles public, and each one of them. And I also use E, but this is to SSH into the different devices. As you can see, I left the names here. Let me go to BetterTouchTool so you can see what happens there. So BetterTouchTool is what allows me to go to the terminal on whatever session I want. It doesn't matter the app I'm on. Let me open this. So Karabiner calls BetterTouchTool as we saw here. Each one of these links is a BetterTouchTool shortcut, as we can see here. So when Karabiner calls this shortcut, it's going to show my terminal, which is Alacrity, and it's going to press these two keys, Hyper-V, which is what I use for tmux commands, and then Control U. So let me show you what's going to happen in tmux. Let's go back. Let me open my tmux-con file. So as we saw here, Control U takes me to this directory. It calls the tmux-sessionizer. This is Primeagen's tmux-sessionizer. I just made a few changes. And to go to SSH devices, I call this other script tmux-sshonizer-agen. So that is what allows me to SSH to the different devices. As you can see here, this is to open the menu for the tmux-sessionizer with F. And this is the one that I created, which allows me to select the SSH devices. Let me show you another mapping in BetterTouchTool. Let's say that we want to open the tmux bind. As you can see here, this selects the terminal Alacrity, presses Control B or Hyper B, and then presses F. So it's going to switch to Alacrity, Control B, and then F, which is going to allow me to search. Or if, for example, we go back here, the SSH find is down here. This is Hyper B, Control B. This is down here, Control B. Now for the ones that don't know what the tmux-sessionizer is, let me show you real quick. All of these files are public. They're in my dotfiles latest repo, so you can go and grab them and configure them yourself. So let me show you what they do. In the tmux directory, tools, here's primes, tmux-sessionizer. Here is the original repo. Let me go there. Here's the script that Primeagen created. The code is here. I just added comments to the code and made a few adjustments. Here's where I configure the Karabiner mappings.sh file, which is here. You have to configure this file manually with your mappings. And this file is the one that allows me to add the letter here at the end of the session so that I can remember J is for my .files latest and .files public is KL. It just helps me remember the mappings for each one of my directories. And the rest of it is just what Prime configured originally. Let me show you the other script. This is the one that I created. It's very similar to this one. But if you don't pass any arguments when you call this script, it's gonna call this other script ssh select, which is here. And this other file is the one that shows me the list of SSH devices when I press hyper-en. So the mappings for this file are configured here under SSH hosts. You don't need to add mappings. As you can tell, I left some devices here without a mapping and they work. Let me go to one of them, hyper-en, gonna go to Docker 2. And it takes me there, logs me into that device. Gonna go back to my latest repo, which is hyper-tj. So what else do we have here? Okay, so like I said, this is the script that shows you the FCF menu so that you can select the host to log into. And this is the tmux-sshonizer-agen. Very similar to what Prime did. I just made a few changes here. But this is what basically shows me the letter at the end of each SSH session so that I can remember the mappings. Here's Docker 3. I know that I get there with J. DNS3, I know that I get there with quote. Storage 3, I can get there with K. This I can get there with L. So that's basically it. I just need to fix a few comments here. As you can tell, this is not updated, but I'm going to update all of this in my GitHub repo. There's a few comments and some other things that I need to fix. How do you find this repo? I'm gonna leave the link to the repo in the video description, but if you want to look for it, it's here. Like arsu.files latest, and it should be. You're not gonna see all these because I have some private repos, but you won't be able to find it here. Just go to the tmux directory, tools, and here's what we just saw. It's updated in GitHub right now. I don't have any changes pending. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, if you have any improvements. Also let me know. I hope you find it useful, and I'll see you next time.